Okay, we are back. Kate's paying me out.
I'm laughing at Paul because those people that said it better than we could are us.
Hey, why do you have to do that?
The sun's going down as I try to make my way through the crowd. Feeling alive, I love being by your side. It makes me shine. We got one summer, so let's make it count. You make me feel like everything's alright. Let's dance our problems away in the night. Love being right next to you. You'll be on my mind. I'll be dreaming about this till the end of the day. We are young, we are free, down for the ride. Might be over tomorrow, but we got to stay forever. Do you hear that sound? Can you feel the music? Let's
Welcome
get wild.
back. All right, start of the year. We're kicking off with a two-part series. Of course, tonight is the second part of that series. If you missed last week, do go back and check it out. It is fantastic. It covers off all of the resources, the apps, the maps, the education that we would recommend, even some planning tips, products. It's all in there. And I also didn't mention last week, but I will now, is that everything is time coded. So if you
Yes.
go to the description, if you're watching this on YouTube, of course, then you'll be able to jump to the parts that are most relevant to you, because we understand that some people out there are still in the planning stages. Some of you are already rolling down the road, and some of you are completely green,
Yes.
which is exactly what we were when we started this.
I know it's hard to believe it's gone
Yeah.
so quick. On that, we have updated our ultimate ebook about travelling Australia. We're so excited for this. It is the new and improved version. It, of course, includes all of the information that we've learned over the last 6 months since we've been in our new setup, how to live off-grid, lots of new videos, 100 clickable links through
Awesome.
to so many different resources. There's downloadable, customizable templates. It's basically everything that we were looking for when we got started and couldn't find or couldn't access easily, all in one convenient place.
Love it. And I've got to give you a big rap here, Katie.
Thank you, Dale.
She's, design is her forte. Let's put it that way. It's awesome.
I have many
Beautifully,
fortes.
you do actually. Beautifully presented. So get your hands on that. Of course, less than the cost of one night's camping, as we like to say.
Yeah.
It's a bargain.
Yeah, and great for your iPad or your device. You can print it if you want to, and you don't have to if you don't want to. So save on weight as well.
Yes, plus a free audio book. Now, please don't email us and say it hasn't arrived in the post.
No, it's not coming in the mail.
No.
Definitely not. We talked about in last week's episode, there's our neighbour again. We talked about in last week's episode how easy it is to get mail on the road. So if you are interested in that, check that out. This is not coming via the mail. It will come straight to your inbox.
Okay, all right. Ebook for electronic delivery. Here we go. Tonight we are talking about the must-have gear. We're talking about some storage solutions, safety and security. That is a massive one.
Yeah, huge.
Comes up every single week in comments,
Yeah.
and communications and preparing for off-grid living, because 6 months ago,
We had no idea.
no, we changed our lifestyle of how we travel around in our different vehicles now that we have that can get us off-grid and also more remote. So a little bit on that as well.
Yeah, really awesome stuff. And as you said, Paul, it doesn't really matter what stage you're in. There's some really great tips and information here. It's basically just us brain dumping everything that we've learned across our time, whether that's been through our own trial and error, our mistakes, or whether it's been from other travellers as well, because we
And their
have learned-
mistakes.
Yeah,
Which is the best way to learn, from somebody else's.
yes.
All
So
right.
learn from ours.
Yes, very good. Okay, here we go. We're going to start at the top of, the most asked, really, segment that we
Yep.
get. A lot of questions around that, and that is safety, security, and comms.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. One of the first things that we learnt very early, I think it was actually episode 10. I'm like Rain Man with our episodes. We're up to episode whatever this is.
Yes. Actually, we could do it like a whole little quiz on social media where we'll quiz Paulie and you can ask him.
So episode 10, we're back there at Rockhampton, down in Yeppoon, and it was massive fires all up and down the East Coast. You know, the headlines were Australia on fire, if you remember. Pretty devastating to a lot of people as far as property, loss of lives. It was tragic. Yep. And we got caught up in it down there where really stupidly a couple of idiots lit fire to the beach frontage and it just took over. And we were woken up about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, I think, with this massive glow in front of the Discovery Caravan Park that we were staying in.
Yeah, it was really scary.
It was.
We were totally not prepared. It was something that really stupidly on our behalf, we hadn't even considered,
naively, I think,
in.
You know?
No, we hadn't even given natural disaster a thought. I mean, we worried about a lot of stuff before we hit the road, and we had our own sort of concerns about what about this and what about that. But natural disaster wasn't one of them. So that was a huge wake-up call for us.
Now, you look at the last 3 years that we've been travelling.
Yeah.
I mean, even now, look at those floods up in Broome and Kimberley's unbelievable.
Yes.
So natural disaster and weather events are actually a regular occurrence here in Australia.
Yeah, and definitely something that shouldn't scare you out of travelling at all. But if you're just a little bit prepared and, you know, you've had that pre-planning and that pre-thought, then you will be fine. And there's some little things that we'll talk about that can help you do that.
All right, let's get into it. Okay, the evacuation plan is absolutely one to put on your list. Powder extinguisher, I mean, vans come with this. We would recommend that you also have one in your vehicle because you never know what you're going to come across. Thank you for those of you who wrote into us and said, great walk round on the 79 series, but you probably need to make sure that you're mounting that fire extinguisher.
Advice.
So yes, you will see that actually happen. So thank you for picking me up on that one. Smoke alarms, CO detector. If your van doesn't come with a CO detector, go to Bunnings, spend your $30. I think there's a really great brand called Quell. It comes with a 10-year lithium battery that you don't even have to think about changing. And honestly, this saves lives. It's crazy to us that it isn't legislation here in Australia yet. It is in the US and most parts of the world. You have to have one of these. If you haven't got one in your van, go get one.
Yes, 100%. And do your research on this and really understand what it is for, how it works, and what the benefits are. But for $30, as you say, Paul, for that a little bit of peace of mind.
Unbelievable. There's a lot of gas appliances in vehicles, you know, and although vans, you know, these new age vans are moving towards removing gas completely, we're certainly not there yet. That's probably still another 5 years away, I would think, looking at what's happening. Okay.
Fire blanket is another really quick and easy, very minimal expense to make sure that you've got, again, we have one both in our caravan and also in our tow vehicle, but to easily and quickly contain a smaller fire if you've got one of those within reach. Yeah,
don't use water. I have to tell you, I can vouch for this. I was
you
on
can speak from experience.
A little yacht. It's like the Minnow. I felt like I was going to Gilligan's Island. If you're watching, Jonathan.
We love you still.
Oh, wow. But the cab of this this little Dolphin, I think it was a 21-footer yacht, caught on fire in the cabin, and it was pretty scary. Even part of me caught on fire. But this fire blanket, boom, it was out. It literally sucked the life out of it. I've never seen anything so instant.
Amazing.
Amazing. Fire blankets. Get them. Okay, wheel lock security system. Look, you'll find that depending on the circumference of your tyre, the width between the tyres, if you've got a dual axle, some of these chock locks and things like that may not fit. I know on our first van, I couldn't get anything to fit.
That's right.
Do you remember? And so, look, check it out. We ended up using a very heavy-duty,
really thick
motorbike lock and chain. And we were flipped out. We thought we were going to have to lock it every time we went even into a national park. We were a little bit, fearful, I think, back in the early days. It's the most unlikely thing that's going to happen. Yes, it does happen. We have now got a Witty anti-theft system. that also has a demobilisation. It is fantastic. We will at some point do a bit of a product review on that. We don't work with them, but they certainly do the job, and they get a great rap online if you're looking at a inexpensive insurance for your van. You can check those out online.
Yeah, and thank you to everybody who has recommended those along the way to us, because that's been a long time coming for us to get one of those. So we should do a segment on that coming up.
Now, Kate, I'm looking down these notes. There's plenty of them. Thank you for preparing. What about with our Toyota Hilux? We had a panic button, which meant that with our spare key, we would put that beside the bed. We never used it. But let's say there was an intruder or there was a problem. You can hit this thing and it's like, I don't know, it must be 130 decibel horn system goes off, and talk about gaining attention when you need it. That was a brilliant idea that a viewer sent in to us as just a little, again, peace of mind just beside your bed, your spare key, if you've got a panic button on that.
Yeah, look, safety and security is a big topic, especially in those really remote regions. And we were travelling through the very remote parts of WA.
Fitzroy Crossing up there. Those
And
of you
this
who know
topic
about
came
the,
up.
the dramas that can happen up there, it can get pretty hectic.
Yes.
And look, right now, their major problem for a lot of those communities is flooding and actually getting rescued. So
Yeah, it's
good luck
pretty
if you're
full
up
on up
there.
there. But we had lots of interaction with our audience around, how do you keep yourself feeling safe? How do you protect your belongings?
Yeah.
Especially when you are really remote. That key alarm is a fantastic one. Another really good piece of advice that came into us when we first aired that episode all that time ago. I'll put a card in, and I'll also put that link down in the description, is really think about whatever it is that you're going to have to protect yourself. Can that be used against you in a situation if it were to come to a head? So, you don't want to be swinging a baseball bat and then have that swung at you. So that was just a really good thing to think about.
3 years, we've heard of one incident that was more a scary incident opposed to actually eventuating to physical harm. But it was enough that it rocked this couple, and it was at Fitzroy Crossing, and they were staying in the caravan park. Now, it's honestly, from our level of fear when we set off about being attacked or someone getting stolen or the van, getting stolen while we're hiking, or we can genuinely in our hearts say, don't let that stop you or deter you from doing your travels, because it is the most unlikely thing that could probably happen.
I didn't even think about it
You'd
anymore.
be better concentrating on getting a towing course and
Yeah.
thinking about safety and not overloading your van and things that are in your control. That would be the ones that we would focus on as far as personal safety.
Yep, great advice.
All right. Something that we do have, though, is Kate uses her essential oils. They're really our go-to, not only from well-being, but also first aid.
Cleaning.
Yeah, pure essential oils. They're fantastic. One of them is peppermint. Now, that in a little spray bottle, not only is a bit of a nice bench cleaner and makes the van smell nice.
And it's a great bug spray too, just quietly.
But I tell you, if you get that stuff in your eye...
Oh my God. Peppermint oil
it
in your
floors you.
eyeballs.
Yeah,
It's
now,
horrible.
it can't kill you, it can't blind you.
No.
But, just maybe a suggestion, if you want another little...
Yeah, it
something
can
to stop
certainly
someone.
bring you to your knees, that's for sure.
Yeah, anyway, not recommending that you spray anyone with it.
No, speaking from advice.
But you could. Okay, let's move on. PLB, the Garmin sat phone. We get questions about, well, what do you use when you're so remote, you're off hiking? How do you get yourself some attention if, it really hits the fan?
Yeah.
And so we have a Garmin InReach Mini. This was about I think on special it was about $580. But look, they're even cheaper now. There are so many different versions. Zoleo, I believe, is an Australian company that does the same thing.
Yep.
So look, and they're basically personal satellite device that you just clip on your bag. You can preload them with text. I've arrived safely. Send a tow truck.
Yep.
I've been bitten by a snake. You can instantly SOS if you need someone to find you from an emergency services point of view.
Yep. Plus so many other features. I mean, our little one, you can check ahead the weather if you're doing a multi-day hike and you've inputted your route. You can check ahead for weather conditions. So lots of amazing features on those. So tiny, so good for hiking. That's what we predominantly use ours for.
A lot of these new phones, now we can't speak for every brand, only what we have. We're pretty well an Apple family just because of all of our editing software, all of those gear, so everything talks to each other in the van and when we're actually producing content. So we are Apple, you know, we should have shares in Apple. Katie has a new Apple phone. That now has that capability to be able to put an SOS call out as well. A couple of things that you have to factor in here: clear line of sight, you know, clear skies. So there are some things that can restrict some of these devices, but do your own research.
Yeah, for sure.
We can vouch for the Garmin InReach Mini because we've never had to use it as an emergency situation, but it does everything it says it can do. Yeah. So great.
Yeah, and that cost, I mean, whether it's $500 or less or more, really, again, for that peace of mind and knowing that you've got something on the off chance that you need to use it, I mean, it's a life-saving device.
Sat phones, absolutely, they work. I used them while filming on location out past Silverton when I was doing the Amazing Race.
Yeah, in your past life.
Yeah, amazing show, that one. That is Americans racing around the world. I was involved with that when it was filming here. We used sat phones, but that's a long time ago. Now, Starlink.
Well, technology has changed so much.
I mean, it's unbelievable. You've heard us rave about Starlink so many times. It's because we're super fans.
Yeah.
So more on that when we get down a little bit further to comms.
Awesome.
All right, two-way radios.
Again, I mean, it's such an inexpensive purchase, and there are all different types that you can get. We obviously have one in the 79 that is permanently there. We also have a couple of little portable ones, and our advice if you're a travelling family is get some for the kids, get them so that they can play with them and have fun, but teach them the basics of using them, because again, if they know how to pick up a radio and call for help, if you can't or there's no other adults around, again, that could be a life-saving situation.
Yeah, and you can create a fun activity as far as orientation that still is giving them those skill sets, you know. So not that they become a toy, but they definitely understand the communication aspect of how to use those radios. I do it with Jasper. We play Super Spice when we're out at camp. We also let Katie know when we're back. You know, she calls us when lunch is ready. Whatever it is, it is a fantastic little tool and really, really inexpensive. I didn't get a pack of 3 Unidons for kids. They're only little 2 watters for maybe $40 from like Kmart.
Yeah.
You know, we also bought a more expensive portable one that is weatherproof. I think it might be a 5 watt. Just a little bit more serious for when we're out camping and going a little bit, remote on a hike or something like that.
Yeah, and another great tip is you can use them to help your partner reverse if you are towing.
Great.
They're excellent tool, especially if you find yourself in places where you don't have really great mobile phone service. We generally will use our phones. I'll just jump out and say to Paul, I'm going to call you, and I can just guide him in that way. But if we don't have phone service, using the radios is an excellent way to make sure that you're not yelling at each other.
Can I just jump in? This is just another tip that we've said plenty of times on our show, but if you're new to the channel, this is a huge one when you're starting out. When you have the person guiding you in when you're reversing a van, okay, whether you have cameras or not, make sure that you use passenger side or driver's side.
That's a good tip.
Don't say more to my side or more to the left or more to the right, because really the driver doesn't know what you're talking about. Are they talking about my right, your left? Yep. But if you say passenger side of the vehicle or driver's side, the driver knows exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
And that will save a lot of back and bump issues.
Yes, it will. And figure out that best communication for you. And look, there'll be plenty of people who'll come up and say, oh, you should be doing this or you should be doing that, and they'll give you tips.
There's always extra help. Yeah,
on how to do it. But you'll get a system. I mean, we have our own language, our own system now, and look, it's not perfect every time. Paul still yells at me sometimes.
Never. I'd never yell at you.
But if you've got your system, it just takes the stress out of it, because it can be quite a stressful situation.
Okay, here we go. Must-have gear. Oh, sorry, back on the radios. Can I just say, channel 40, I think I've said this before.
Yep.
When we're driving down the highway remotely, That way the truckies, you can communicate, maybe turn the volume down a little, can be a little bit colourful. But channel 18, if you're in convoy, works really well between vans.
Yeah.
Make sure you give enough distance between you and the convoy van so that trucks can get around you if they have to.
Yeah.
And then also channel 11 we use as a bit of a chatter channel when we're at campsites.
Yeah.
You know, or channel 10. You'll be able to find out what's free once you get to these places. Okay, must-have gear. Disclaimer here is that some of these items and suggestions are our partners we actually work with. So that's our disclaimer.
The brands, yes. The disclaimer on the disclaimer, though,
Here we
is
go.
that, if that's such a thing,
It is.
we used and loved those products so much that we either approached these partners or figured out a way to be able to work with them and share how awesome they are with you guys. So we can genuinely say, whether we're working with them or not, all of these products are products that we use every day in our daily life. We absolutely love, and we recommend to you because we love them so much and they've made such a good impact in our life.
Yep, and that's the other thing too. Do your research, check out other reviews, have a look at this stuff for yourself, and it will come up trumps.
Yeah. Well, and what's awesome working with these brands is we can offer discount codes to you guys as well. So it really is a win-win situation.
Love it. All right, here we go. We do have a gear page on our website. So I'm looking at where I was up to. It is basically thefeelgoodfamily.com and /gear.
Yep.
You'll see it on the page very clearly, and you'll be able to have access to all of these.
Yeah, the discount codes are all there, and they'll take you straight to the various web pages if you are keen to purchase.
Yeah, and we really recommend that you actually purchase quality gear. Another real obvious point of difference on gear that we talk about, and why we only have so little partners, is that it has to be quality. Are you going to pay a little bit more? Yes, but why not only pay for something once instead of having to buy something 3 times because it breaks?
Yeah, and that's speaking from personal experience. Like we learnt the hard way early on, where we were just buying products and then they wouldn't last very long. I mean, just as camp chair, we went through so many camp chairs because they just wore out. You know, the material would wear out. They got mouldy and rusty. And our point is, maybe paying a little bit more for really good quality stuff is much smarter than paying over and over again for items that are not so expensive but maybe not as good quality.
Perfect. All right, some basic gear. I'm going to fly down this list because some of them are probably obvious.
Yep.
But if you are green and you're new, your starter kit that comes with the van in many cases doesn't have everything you actually need.
Well, we picked up our first caravan and rolled back into the driveway, and we didn't have wheel chocks, ramps, we didn't have connectors to connect up our hose, we didn't have anything. So then we had to
And there was a
park
starter
the
kit in
van.
that van too.
Yeah,
So
and run out to Bunnings and run out to BCF and try and pick up all of this stuff.
the difference, you know, between getting 10 amp out of the house into a 15 amp connection on the van, I was like, what does that mean?
Yep.
So yeah, so anyway, these are some of the ideas. Chocks, ramps, jockey, wheel, the power jack on the Zone vans, we just love.
It's amazing.
It's such a gift. You don't have to, you know, hurt your knees or your back anymore.
Yeah.
Check those out as well. You can buy them online. Inexpensive power jack. Foam pad for knees. I got at Bunnings just a little blue foam. You know those click-in foam mats that you click all together that they use at like kids' play centres and for kids' outdoor activities? Just get one of those. They are so cheap. And you put that as you're doing up the safety change and getting all the electrics plugged in from your vehicle when you're coupling up the van. It is such a saver for your knees.
Especially if you're of mature vintage like we are, Dom.
Jeez, Katie. All right, ground dogs, awning anchor kit. Oh, yes, good. These are fantastic. If you are out camping and you want to head off for the day, we would recommend that you always put your awning in because you never know what's going to come up.
Yeah, we've heard some doozies too of people saying,
man.
holy dooly, our neighbours went out and we're all hanging onto the awning because the wind whipped up or a huge storm rolled in.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a marriage breaker, these awnings, you know, when you're first starting out because you can't remember what the guy said to you.
Man.
You know, at the handover when you picked your van up. But these are brilliant. They're safer, they're stronger. You know that they're going to do the job. We absolutely love this product. That's how we met Paul Pont, who's the inventor of these. He's a camper, he's a caravanner. He sees products and he goes, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah, love
and
it.
he gets it done. So you can check those out. That is Outback Trucks. Check it out through our gear page. Okay.
Awesome.
Flat out fresh water hose.
Love that hose.
Feel like a fireman. Yeah, I've got some good overlay there.
It's so good. What's so good about it too is that it packs up beautiful and neatly in the reel, and then it just stores. You know, you don't have hose everywhere. You don't have water and mess everywhere.
Yeah, that's it.
Really
I think it keeps the water out of the boot, the tunnel boot, or the storage area of your van.
Yep.
And it is compact.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. Max Tracks. Yeah, you know, it's great. We've seen people that have a set on the van and they go for driving and forget to take them with them. Either have two sets or make sure that you have the set with you.
Yes.
Yeah, I think is the key.
I'm so excited about this year. I mean, we are going places we've never been before, but to get the van down on the sand and hopefully have to use our Max Tracks, I'm excited about that. I think that's going to be adventurous for us. It's going to be new experiences.
Not if you're out there digging yourself out. It's not that much fun, believe me.
I just saw on the Max Tracks website they've got so many beautiful new colours as well. So you don't just have to settle for, black or orange. They've got awesome colours now.
Because that matters.
It said Mix and Max Tracks, which I thought was clever.
Clever, guys. Love it. All right. Moving on. We use a good quality spirit level.
Yeah.
Yep, there are products out there, digital apps and all sorts of stuff, but I don't know. We like that tangible feel of actually, boom, and seeing the spirit level makes it very clear.
Easy. Well, it's easy
it is
too.
easy.
It's quick and easy.
Okay.
That's for obviously levelling your van.
Quality towing mirrors. Now, Katie's done an awesome review on our MSA mirrors.
Yeah.
Amazing. They're single mirror. They're not split, so you don't feel like you have to be a truck driver. And looking into two mirrors at once is just...
Do you know what? This is our third set of towing mirrors since we've been on the road. We've been on the road just over 3 years, and we had no idea when we started, and we were sold a set of mirrors, and they were clip-on ones, and they did the job.
They did the job.
Yep. Then we upgraded and we got a different, much bigger set of towing mirrors that are installed onto the vehicle, and they were great and they did the job. And then we got our MSA mirrors.
Well, I think what happened was Kate used to, because you're a beautiful petite woman, trying to look over the size of those mirrors as well, and again, the split mirrors was just a bit of a pain.
The second set of mirrors that we had were so big that I couldn't see over them. So I found it actually quite dangerous when I was coming up to like a roundabout or somewhere where I had to be aware of oncoming traffic on my right. I just could not see. So, and that's with my seat up as high as I could go and, as close to the wheel so I could touch the pedals. Then we got our MSA mirrors, and they are honestly the best towing mirrors that we have tried.
Yeah.
What I love about them is that they look like they're part of your vehicle. They're not big and bulky. Anyway, we love the MSA towing mirrors. Definitely check them out, how they move, the actuator in them. They're just really clever.
Yeah.
So if you're in the market, our advice to you would be go and check out the MSA mirrors before you buy anything else.
Get it right the first time.
Yep.
Okay. Spare different hose tap connectors. Yep. Bunnings is your best friend when you're starting out, but don't overcook it. When you go in for one item, don't come out with 10 like we do.
No.
Different length hoses, it's a great idea because depending on where the services, the utilities are and, what side of the van those fill points are, then, you might need to run a 30-metre hose or you might need to run a 2-metre hose. So have a couple of different sizes there that you can join together and connect. Gaff tape, lecky tape, zip ties, fence wire. Look, there's YouTube bush mechanics on all of this. You can Google it, but just get a good idea. I think we're doing an episode called RV Maintenance 101. That's coming up in the next little while, and that is with an industry expert, someone who actually does maintenance on vans every day for a living. And so we'll also look at some, must-have. What's the the must-have short kit?
Yeah.
that you can get away with and feel like you've got it covered.
I think that's such a good idea too, because especially if you're totally green and you're not particularly skilled in that area, we thought we needed so much stuff when we set off. So Paul had toolkits that I don't think you even opened, and then we realised we were lugging stuff around for 18 months. We just didn't even use it.
Look, it really is just extra weight. Okay, let's keep going. Rechargeable batteries. Look, never leave your batteries on charge.
Yes.
Particularly if you're away from the van. You know, these can be pretty dangerous things, so make sure that you are always present when you're charging up your lithiums.
And awake too.
Yeah,
we never
I think
charge
so.
up anything overnight.
No, great advice. Okay, spare fuses. I tell you what, when you're stuck and you just need a little 10 amp fuse and you don't have one.
Yeah, like for the toilet
flush your toilet. Yeah, remember that?
Yes.
What a pain in the...
Literally.
Okay, so have fuses, we learnt that one. Air compressor and a tyre pressure checker. Absolutely have those. If you are planning to get off the tarmac, okay, and at some point you will.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
All right, water jerry cans, fuel jerry cans, water bladder. We've got a pump kit for filling tanks that is coming up in an episode very soon. I think actually next week we're going to be talking about that from Adventure Pumps.
Oh, so totally going to change our camping experience.
Yeah, we've been giving this a good run for the last little while and it is awesome. Absolute game changer. So we'll share details on that in a little minute.
Fantastic.
Okay, I think that is it. We're actually going to take a quick break, grab a water, give you a break as well. Here is a promo on our ebook, Said Better Than We Can. It's a 1-minute clip and we'll be back straight after that. Are you planning on travelling Oz, feeling overwhelmed on how to get started and where to get the information?
Well, this is the road trip guide that we wish we had before we hit the road. Over 100 pages of travel information and tips on purchasing, planning, vehicle maintenance, safety and security, storage solutions, gear, weights and towing, and how to make money on the road. Plus, over 100 links to additional resources, apps, maps, printable checklists, budget and customizable templates. Everything you need in the one detailed ebook, and all for less than the cost of one night's camping.
How good is that? It's time to get excited and time to get your copy. Plus included is our free audio book, Lessons from a Lap Year.
Happy trails!
Okay, we are back. Kate's paying me out.
I'm laughing at Paul because those people that said it better than we could are us.
Hey, why do you have to do that? I meant now.
Yeah, okay.
Otherwise I just ramble on.
Technicality.
Kate never rambles on. Okay, storage solutions and hacks, preparing for off-grid, and as we mentioned, we've got RV maintenance coming up in a little while. Okay, let's just nail this because this is the shorter segment of these two halves. They're not really halves in this week's episode.
And these are just a couple of suggestions. In the ebook, there is a whole page dedicated to storage solutions, things that have worked for us, little tips and tricks and hacks.
Love it. Okay, here we go. Keep heavy items low when packing your RV, okay?
Really, really important.
It's
not
basic.
just for aesthetics either.
It is basic information, but I tell you what, you do not want that sort of weight up the top or at the back of the van. You want it over the axles and you want it down low.
Yeah, and it might be a bit of a pain. Our tin cans are right down, so, you know, I have to get down on my hands and knees to get the tins of food or whatever out, but so much safer.
Love it. Okay, as far as simple storage solutions, just visit MSA.
Oh, yeah, great.
Yeah, and you will see their drawer systems. I mean, obviously they're famous for their drop-down fridge slides, but their pouches, their canvas accessories, their caddies. I mean, also, what about their luxury premium cutlery kit that they've just released? The stuff is outstanding.
Yep.
And some of their gear across the range has a lifetime guarantee, which is hard to believe in the 4x4 industry, but I think that's why they're leaders in their field. So
yeah, really awesome. Having that stuff as well has also helped us reduce clutter. So we've been able to, you know, with the cutlery pack, everything's there. We've been able to get rid of other loose items and everything's in one pack. So check that out. Also, there's so many different little soft storage solutions that you can buy from, you know, Kmart or IKEA. And we've done plenty of segments across the 3 years on storage solutions, and all the info is in the ebook as well.
And Katie's favourite product of all time, the command hook.
I do love a good sticky hook.
Fusion locks from Bunnings. There's some amazing products out there.
There really are.
They're two of the hook solutions that we definitely recommend.
Yeah, if you don't have a van, like we can't be putting screws or nails or anything into our caravan, and you don't want to do that, then those suction locks are amazing. Like our shower caddy, it just doesn't move. Like, and it's loaded up with products and whatnot.
Yep.
It just doesn't move.
Okay, as far as getting out here, and we'll go back to Outback Tracks, but you know how you have the little 5mm or 7mm runner? It's like a sail track on your awning. These awning hooks, they're literally the most inexpensive product that we have on board.
Yeah.
And they're awesome. Yeah, and again, check that out on our gear page. I'll put some overlay in there, but brilliant idea.
They're so great, and we've hung so many different things. I mean, we've had our awning lights, our party light, disco lights as Jasper calls it, on there. They're great for if you've got some clothes on coat hangers that you want to hang out, or just really simple, hang your towel over them. So they're excellent.
Run an extension cord, a lead that you want up high, and then drop into your fridge for your vehicle, whatever.
Yeah.
There's just so many different options for those
I
things.
think that's a really good point too. Some of the best products don't have to be the most expensive ones either. Some of the best products we use are like so inexpensive.
No, but they do the job
Yeah.
every time you pull them out of the bag.
Yes,
I think that's the difference.
it is.
Okay, I think that's it. Let's talk about preparing for off-grid camping, free camping.
Yeah.
Look, if you haven't, you're feeling a bit nervous about doing this, now that we're 6 months down the track, we would say do it. Make it, even if it's a stepping stone thing like us, 3 years, later.
Yeah.
It is one of the best, I think, feelings that you can experience camping is when you are completely off-grid and, freedom camping, as they call it in some countries.
Yeah, there's something about it. I mean, it's part, like you say, Paul, sticking it to the man,
Free power!
There's also that part of this really is living. Like, you find yourself in some of the most amazing locations and you're fully self-sufficient. So it is just awesome. And no matter what your setup is, you'd be able to do it for a day or two or even longer. It is truly the best. We have gone from caravan park people and feeling like we needed that safety and security and access to services to now completely the opposite.
Yeah, how long can we stay off-grid? Yeah, and you know what? We've got the power sorted. We don't even ever have to think about the power.
Yeah.
Which has been amazing. So far, we have not plugged in
No.
once. So there you go. Now we've got the water sorted with our new pump system. So that is an absolute game changer.
Yeah.
It means that we can extend the period that we can actually stay off-grid now.
Yeah.
And isn't that the ticket? That's what you want.
Totally. So, some good tips from us for you if you are planning to camp off-grid, even just a little bit, is if you're picking up a new caravan or you haven't done this before in your existing vehicle, test it before you go.
Great advice. Yeah.
Be in your driveway if you have to, but be off-grid and live like you are in the middle of nowhere and see how long can you get out of your water tanks. What does that actually mean? How do we have to switch our thinking on how we use it?
Yep.
How quick do our showers need to be? How often can we shower? Like, test those things out. Test out, your solar and your power or your generator. Understand how those things work. There is nothing, and we've been in this situation in the past, in our early days, of finding yourself somewhere beautifully remote and something goes wrong or you don't know how to use something. It's really stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Do you know, I'm smiling because we were in Ningaloo Reef over in WA, one of the most outstanding off-grid campsites that you can possibly
Cape
find
Range
yourself.
National Park.
Oh, wow. Anyway, there were some backpackers there and they kind of had 3 vans on one site, and one of them says, swim in the ocean's as good as a shower, isn't it? And
I reckon you can get away with that, actually.
That is just gold.
Yep.
And it's true. for a little bit of time.
Yeah, you do certainly start to feel a little bit crusty
Salty.
in places. No,
Love
but
it.
in all seriousness, test it out if you can. Before you go on your off-grid camping adventure, do what you can to understand how does your setup work, and what does that mean? I had no idea what any of that, what are watts and volts and how do they work and what are we going to generate and what does that mean we can use? Just do that so that you've got a little bit more confidence
Even
about
for the
it.
toilet, I think knowing, now we've got a
yeah.
composting toilet,
Yeah.
It truly is amazing for how long you can stay off grid without having to go to a dump point.
Yep.
But knowing that, again, by parking in your driveway or your mate's driveway and working out how often do we need to change this.
Yeah, or do we need it to travel with a second cassette? We know plenty of families that do that as well.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. We mentioned that RV Maintenance 101 from an industry expert is coming up. It is brilliant. It is really what you need to know, whether that's internal, external, safety, tyre pressures, cleaning, solar. It will be some pretty valuable information that I think will add value to everyone out there travelling. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up in the next little while.
Awesome.
All right. I think that's it. Another question that we get asked a lot outside of security is, how do you afford it?
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you actually, how do you make money? Oh, but I do this for a living. What would I do? I tell you right now is the golden age of travel for people who want to be able to live and work remotely, travelling Australia with their family as a solo traveller with your partner.
Yes.
It would not matter what style or type of traveller you are, whether you have a beautiful zone van or a swag. You can do it and you can thrive. And we would encourage you to check out our episode on how we make money on the road.
Yep.
That has an awesome spectrum of stories of other travellers that we have met that have blown our mind, and it made us realise, I get goosebumps thinking about this,
Anybody can.
if you genuinely want to do this, anybody can do this and survive, and in a lot of cases thrive.
Well, there is so much work out there too. It is in abundance. Right now is the time, as you said, Paul. And everybody we meet as we travel around in businesses around the country is screaming out for people to work. So it is so doable.
I love this quote, and I'm so glad that I just saw it because of what we're talking about. If you're brave enough to say goodbye, life will reward you with a new hello. Paulo Coelho?
Hello.
Yeah, the guy who wrote The Alchemist, if you remember that. Isn't that
Such
great?
a great quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. I think it's being brave enough to take that risk, that leap of faith, and chase your dream. And honestly, what's the worst that can happen?
Oh,
too?
look, we realise you are more likely to regret the things that you didn't do than the things that you actually give a crack, the things that you do.
Yep.
I said do.
And I thought you were going to say give her something else, not crack. So there you go.
All right, that is us. How about that? Okay, 2-part series. Go back and watch the first one. Check out all the links, all of the episodes that we threw to and that we mentioned at your fingertips, okay? So, you don't have to search through, whatever that is, 170 episodes and multiple playlists.
Yeah.
It'll link you straight there.
Plenty of links in the ebook too to all of the different educational videos that we've done, from our Lessons from a Lap Year series that we did last year to episodes on money, on top tips for travelling, on how we got started. There is so much good education.
Outback road safety.
Yep.
It's all in there.
Awesome.
All right, that's it. We'll go and get Jasper ready. I'm taking him to the Ginger Factory. It's his happy place, isn't it? All right, from our family to yours, dream big, look after yourself and look after your family.
And happy trails.
Bye. Thanks for watching. Please do like, subscribe and share our channel. And if you'd like more information on full-time RV travel and living, visit our website, thefeelgoodfamily.com. There you'll find loads of free resources, our weekly podcast, caravan cooking recipes, our monthly Go RV magazine articles, and much more. We look forward to seeing you next week. Take care of yourself and your family, and happy trails.